All right, well, good morning. Welcome. My name is Jeff Harrison, and this is...
Hey, I'm Andrew McCauley.
And we're very, very happy to be here this morning. We are part of I'm going to call it Gap Education for SCORE. How many of you are familiar with what SCORE is and what they do? Yeah. For those of you not familiar, let me ask you a question. Have any of you ever had mentoring or coaching that you've had or paid for? Anyone? No? Okay. So Jenny, you've had coaching, right? And you paid for it? Cool. So it's not free though, right?
No, it's not.
But it's incredibly valuable. In fact, what I learned is I was in the real estate business for a long time as a private investor, and I accelerated my growth exponentially because I saw people who already were doing what I was doing. Very expensive, but the payout was probably like, I don't know, I guarantee it was probably 60, 70 to 1 because of what happened. And so instead of it taking me 20 years, I did it in a year. My point of this whole thing is counseling and mentoring. That's what SCORE does. Now, here's the cool thing. How many of you think that we're here to try to sell you something this morning? Come on, be honest. Yeah. The only thing we're trying to sell you is the fact that SCORE is a great resource for you to say, hey, you know what? I'm either thinking about starting a business, I'm running a business, and I want to take it to the next level. Or I just say, you know what? I have this idea. What's the next step? Well, these people at SCORE can have that. It can be your resource. There's about 38 to 40 people. It's always changing in there that can help you with that. Anything from writing a business plan, writing a loan, whatever that may be. And here's the coolest part. If you get in that situation where you're doing the counseling with them and they realize, you know what you're asking for, Zach, is beyond their scope. There's about 13,000 of them nationwide, and they can get them on the phone. They can do an internet conversation. In other words, have you ever been stumped? Can we stump SCORE? Probably not. So in other words, it's a great resource. So I encourage you to do that. There's actually two here, Debbie and Ron in the back. So if you have any questions today, they'll be with you afterwards for 10 or 15 minutes. You have specific questions on, hey, this is something I'm working on. For us, what we do is as I said, we're Gap Education. We do more of the technology because everyone at SCORE has no monetary investment in your success because they don't get paid. It's something that our tax dollars fund with the SBA. So they put as much time and effort. It's not one of those things where we'll say, you know what, sign up now. And, oh, by the way, on your third session, which starts getting, no, forever, for as long as you want to go. So anyway, that's our little advertisement. Did everyone get a little cheat sheet here this morning?
No.
Okay, then get one here. Ron, it's his birthday, so we'll let him off the hook. Say happy birthday to Ron. So if you do me a favor, everyone, we're going to start out kind of, before we get started, everyone go around and tell us your name. Okay, this is real important. Tell us your name. What your favorite color is, because you're going to get this out of the crayon. No, I don't care what's your favorite color. Tell us your business and what you're hoping to get today while you're here. So we'll start out right here. Take a colored crayon and then pass it down, but tell us your name, what your business is, and why you're here.
My name is Brian Escobar, and my business is All Valley Tool and Repair. And what I am looking to get out of today is the next step to blogging, as I've attended a few of these the wording of the blog, and I believe it's been posted already. I just haven't looked at it yet. But now we want to see what the next step is as far as enhancing that, I guess.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Yes, my name is Mary Archer. I'm in this area 4 years. I traveled worldwide as an entertainer, and now I created a program where I teach people in assisted living of Alzheimer's dementia residents how to sing, dance, and perform.
Wow.
So my company is Breath of Life Arts, and I'm very excited. I'm lecturing now, all in 4 years.
Cool.
I came with a dream, and it has materialized. I have to say, I went from a performer, and now they say I am a reformer of lives. So,
Wow. What a catchphrase. Awesome. Welcome. Everybody getting a crayon?
Yes.
Okay, because we can't do this next event unless you have a crayon. This is critical. Okay, next. Oh.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Antoinette Hamilton. I'm with Solar Systems. and I'm looking to start a blog, and I realize that there's a commitment to that, so I've been hesitant in doing that for a long time. So I'm ready to take the plunge.
Excellent, welcome.
Hi, my name is Linda Yeager. I'm an international product broker. I'm also an interior designer, semi-retired, and I am bringing my business online as an interior environment coach.
Welcome.
I'm Roberta Clark. I'm an interior designer. I've owned my own company down here for 29 years. I've done things like the Esmeralda Hotel, very, very high-end professional, and semi-retired. And I'm just trying to reinvent myself and decide what else I'd like to do other than to be so involved in something that has kind of changed directions.
Oh, okay, great, welcome.
I'm Lou Reinitz. My company is LJR Healthcare Solutions. I am in health, life, and accident in 3 states, California, Utah, and Arizona, and fully employed all year long.
Great, Lou, welcome. What are you looking to get out of today?
I want to learn about the proper way of blogging.
Excellent, excellent.
Yes, my name is Virginia Sam, and I just started a online basket and gift business. So blogging is very important, but every time I start it, I freeze up.
Okay.
Just don't know how to get going on it. I go to the blog.com and then I just sit there and stare at it. So that's what I'm hoping to get out, is how to at least get it going.
I promise you will not talk back, and it'll take whatever you give it. Okay.
Debbie Cohen, I'm with SCORE. I'm retired, about 15 years I've been retired. And I had a lot of the different kinds of businesses. And when I retired, I have all this information in here. And I felt I need to give it back. So that's why I'm here helping people.
Good.
And I have to leave at 8:30 on the button because I see clients at 9 o'clock in the office. So.
Okay, great.
I'm Jenny McDermott. I'm from San Francisco, and my husband and I have been traveling the last 6 months in Europe and the US, and we kind of landed here. We signed a 3-month lease. We got inspired on our travels, and we have some ideas for a couple of websites. One called Beauty Energy Life, and another one called Meditation Innovation, and we're working on some materials for them, and we thought this is perfect timing to get more information.
Great, welcome, Jenny.
I'm Zach McDermott, and I'm co-conspirator to this project.
Well, welcome. So what we'd like to do is, first of all, let's just start with a simple.
Keep going. Keep pushing.
A simple exercise. So everybody stand up. No, I'm just kidding. You have a piece of paper that we're going to pass out. So Zach, if you grab one and then pass it down, what we're going to do is it'll only take, and Andrew, if you do me a favor, watch the clock, it'll only take 10 seconds, okay? So it's a real quick and easy one, and I promise that has nothing to do with holding your breath this morning. So if everyone will take one of those, including the SCORE counselors, I would really appreciate that. There's a saying, if you want to write down and just made up without exercise, there is no growth. Okay?
Okay, I'm bad.
All right, so here's what I want you to do. Everyone has a crayon, correct? Okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to take the next 10 seconds when Andrew says begin, and I want you to do your very best at coloring that picture, okay? Coloring that picture. Andrew, when you're ready.
Oh, ready, set, go.
You have 10 seconds, so give it your best.
And stop.
Okay, so do me a favor. Those of you who finished, hold it up, please. You completely finished? No, Ron, that's not finished. Okay. All right. The reason we did this is, how'd you feel? Was that pressure to do 10 seconds and do that?
It was.
Right? When I said color it, what did it kind of give you the thought of to do? Yep, Mary.
Yes. Well, when I looked at the fish, I said, what's important to me? He's smiling, so I colored that part and the eyes.
Okay.
Because the eyes are in the neck.
But did you color the whole picture?
No, I did not.
Okay. Anyone color the whole picture?
In my sentence?
You did? Let me see it.
The whole body.
No, that's not
Yeah, I
it.
kind of did
Yeah.
what you did.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. So here's what I want you to think about. How many in your mind, you may not think about right before, but when I gave you that and I said color the picture, it meant color within the lines.
Right.
Anybody? Color within the lines.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's what holds us back from starting that blog and just looking at it. So we're thinking, I'm kind of going outside my lines. It's uncomfortable for me. Yes?
Yeah.
I remember the first time I did a video. Even by myself, I'm like, yeah, I don't think I'm ready. Somebody might see this, like no one was in the house. But I did that. And finally, when I broke outside the lines, here's what and Andrew, if you do me a favor, take a color and show them what I'd like to see him, wish they would do. Okay?
You can do that?
Yep, do it real quickly. Okay? And I bet he can do it under 10 seconds because he's from Australia.
Down under.
And plus he has some very young kids. And this is not the first time. Okay?
How's that?
So there you go. So notice what happened. He did the entire thing, but he colored outside the lines because I never said stay inside the lines, did I?
No.
Philip, I never said that, right? So my point is this, when we're talking about blogging today, there are no lines. You're going to do it differently than Philip would do it. Zach, you and Jenny are going to write a different blog than I would write. Luke, definitely different, okay? There are no lines. There are some guideposts, but there are no specific lines. So I want you to take down those barriers right away. So this is the other thing. What is blogging? And this is a video that's about 7 or 8 years old, but, or I should say, and is still incredibly relevant today. It's only about 22 minutes. No, I'm just kidding. It's only a couple minutes. We're going to watch this real quickly.
You've seen the word, you've seen the websites, and you may even have one. But have you ever wondered, what's the big deal about blogs?
Yeah.
This is blogs in plain English. To make sense of blogs, you have to think about the news and who makes it. We'll look at news in the 20th century versus the 21st century to make our point. In the 20th century, the news was produced professionally. When news happened, reporters wrote the stories and a tiny group of people decided what appeared in a newspaper or broadcast. Professional news was mainstream, general, and limited. The 21st century marked a point where news became both professional and personal. A new kind of website called a weblog, or blog for short, came onto the scene that let anyone be a reporter and publisher, often for free. As blogs became popular, they created millions of news sources that gave everyone an audience for their own version of news. Of course, we're using the word news loosely, but really, isn't everything news to someone? With a blog, a business owner can share news about his business. A mother can share news about her family, or a sports star can share news with fans. These people are all bloggers. How did this happen? Well, blogs made sharing news on the web easy. Anyone with an idea can start a new blog with the click of a button and share news minutes later. Here's how blogs work. Blogs are websites that are organized by blog posts. These are individual news stories, like articles in a paper. Bloggers simply fill out a form like this one to post a news story. With the click of a button, the blog post appears at the top of the web page, just above yesterday's news. Over time, the blog becomes a collection of these posts, all archived for easy reference. Also, each blog post can become a discussion through comments left by readers. Blogs make the news a two-way street. But really, the fuss is not about how blogs work. It's about what people like you do with them that matters. Let's say you have a blog about green living and outdoor photography. It reflects your unique perspective. This helps you build relationships with your readers and other bloggers with similar interests. Speaking of relationships, bloggers often work together. In addition to comments, you'll read each other's posts, quote each other, and link your blogs together. This creates communities of bloggers that inspire and motivate each other. Whether it's their ease of use or the opportunities they offer, blogs have been adopted in a very big way. Since 2003, there have been over 70 million blogs created, each with its own version of news. So the big deal about blogs is that they gave people like you the power of the media and created a personal kind of news that appeals to a high number of small audiences. So it's up to you. What will you do with this new power? There is likely a group of people out there who want to hear what you have to say. You can search for blogs using Google's blog search or Technorati. You can also start your own blog for free at blogger or wordpress.com. I'm Lee Lefevre, and this has been Blogs in Plain English on the Common Craft Show.
So does that put it in plain English what a blog is? What would you say now, Jenny, is a blog for you and Zach? Like, what would be your topic? Any idea?
Well, the topic for Beauty Energy Life is beauty, energy, and life, things focused on those areas. So I love, for the beauty section, natural and organic products, and have for forever. So I'd be showcasing those and writing about those.
Great. So personally, you use the product.
Yes.
You live the product.
Mhm.
When you do something like that, for how long have you been doing that?
20 years.
20 years. Do you think when somebody does it for 20 years, they're pretty darn knowledgeable and good about it? You bet. Same thing for you, right?
Absolutely.
Same thing. So sometimes we won't do this when we think, I don't have that expertise, right? But when you look and you say for your gift baskets as an example, and now you know exactly who your market is and why it's beneficial, you're curating, you're kind of taking all this message and making it easier for your clients to get a hold of without them having to go to 10 different places and then try to make an assumption on their own. You can do that for them and help them. So you are that expert. So why do you need to blog? Well, this is something that's kind of a process. The first thing we do is we take strangers, right? People who may have never heard of you, Philip, but now they see, what is this guy who does the tool thing, right? So you attract them with an article that you write. And the whole idea is you're turning them into visitors that now get to know you a little bit, right? It's like bumping somebody in the first time. Like for many of you, how many have I met you today for the first time? We're in this mode, right? We're kind of somewhere between here and there. I know a little about you. I didn't tell you much about me. I try to keep it that way. No, I'm just kidding. So we do that by attracting people with blogs, keywords, and social media. Today, we're going to talk specifically about blogs. How do we do that? The next step is we're going to convert these people. In other words, now let's go into a situation where we've met. You name the environment. Keep it clean, though. And all we're doing now is we've had a discussion, but now we're switching. We're saying, hey, Lou, here's my card. Do me a favor, reach out to me because I want to know more about life health insurance, right? And I have a place in Utah during the summer. I want to know how I can protect myself there, whatever it may be. Now we're exchanging information. The form in this case is a business card, right? The call to action is Lou, call me. And then there may be, how many are familiar with landing pages? Landing pages, yeah. They're not the same as fly strips, but they work pretty much the same. It's attracting somebody, getting them to stick there, and then giving them information. So if you're not using landing pages, something you might want to say, hey, I want to use that on my blog, and you can convert that from somebody who's a visitor into a lead. Because someone who is a visitor, are they taking action right away and buying your product, Roberta? If they just come in and visit you for the first time? No. Anybody here? I mean, there are those times when it's a first time, but most of the time, I think it's about 85% of us will go back more than once before we make a decision. So we need this process to convert our people that are first-time strangers, turn them into visitors, turn them into leads. Does that make sense? That's what a blog helps us do, convert that traffic into leads. It also helps us have the ability to catch flies with chops. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It also has the ability to turn us into authorities in our marketplace, right? So as an example, Antoinette,
Yes.
your expertise to say, hey, you're an authority in what? Solar. Now, that's a pretty broad subject, right? What about solar? Like, is there a specific thing that would appeal to me if I'm a homeowner versus a business owner and you're talking solar?
Yeah, absolutely. Because there's solar photovoltaic, which is for electricity. And then you have solar thermal, which is for solar hot water. So they're two separate solar systems. So your solar thermal can obviously take care of your hot water needs for not only your pool, but for your home. And then, of course, your electricity, the solar PV, which is for solar photovoltaic, will take care of your cooling and heating systems in your home.
Excellent. So if you then establish, let's say you take that down and really get granular and say, wow, the hot water thing. Do you think there are a lot of pools here in the desert?
Not really.
Right now they've been blown into blight, but we do normally have a lot of pools here. Now they're just skateboard parks. But anyway, so what if you said, hey, you know what? I'm going to niche it down. And I'm only going to talk to people about converting them into the solar that converts their hot water or their water into hot water and saves them tons of money. So you know what? I can jump in the pool in the winter and send pictures to my friends on Instagram that I'm swimming in it's, this much snow in New York, right?
And you save 50% on your rebate and your tax credit, 30% federal income tax credit.
Yeah, so do you think you could appeal to a lot of people in the desert like that?
Oh, absolutely.
Versus trying to catch everybody? And you could become an authority in your marketplace. This is what blogging helps you do. So if you're life, health, and you're talking about that, decide who your market is and then really speak to them and solve that problem, and you're the solution. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. It drives long-term results. These blogs are sometimes 5-6 years old and it's still driving traffic today because it's still relevant, Zach. It's still something just like that one video we saw, November 2007. You see that? It's still incredibly relevant today. If you went by that and you did just what it said, you would be successful at what you're doing. Does that make sense? Because you're just saying, hey, I'm just using it. I don't have to drive and write something new every time and then say, well, this one doesn't work anymore. I'm going to pull it off my blog. Leave it on there. Write for today, but you'd be surprised how many of those things work in the future. Okay? So it's all designed to drive long-term traffic. Now, did this make sense? We're kind of just setting the table right now. And Andrew's going to come and he's going to talk about the things you need to know before you start a blog. So this is going to help you a lot and say, instead of me just staring at the blog and wondering what I'm going to put down there, this will help you get this started. Andrew, come on up. Thank you, guys.
All right. Good morning, everybody.
Good
Morning.
So there's a handout that we gave out when you first walked in. So there are some blank spaces on that handout for you to fill in. Now we probably won't cover every single topic, so I'll give you the cliff notes at the end. But you'll see some of those spaces at the front. You can fill those in as we go. So just show me how many people do have a blog right now. People actually have a blog. Ron, you got a blog?
I think. I haven't looked at it yet. The wife's right there.
So how many people actually want to start a blog pretty soon? Yeah, great. All right. So here's a couple of things that I want to talk about. There is a lot of talk out there about getting a free blog versus a paid blog. Okay, have you heard that? Have you heard that you can pay for it and get it free? So a couple of things that I like to talk about. WordPress is a platform that lets you blog. Okay, it's one of the most popular platforms out there. I think it's nearing the 50% mark of all websites out there are built on WordPress. Now, when I talk about blogs, when we talk about blogs and websites, who knows what the difference is? You want to know the difference between a website and a blog? These days, Brian, what do you think it is?
Well, a blog is just like either daily, weekly, in a sense, storytelling.
Right.
And the website is your face, I guess.
Right. And are they two different platforms?
Yeah.
Yes.
No.
No, they
No.
can be connected.
This is the thing. People used to think that. People used to think you'd have a website and have something separate in a blog, and you're like, oh, I don't want to keep up one, keep up the other. They're actually all the same thing these days. Okay, so when I say website or blog, I'm talking about it's all integrated. WordPress lets you integrate a blog with a website. So you can have a fully functional website, like you can sell stuff, you can have an e-commerce website, which means you can sell items and products. You can still have a blog on that platform, on that website. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So when I say blog, I like to make sure that people understand that we're talking about it's all in one spot. Okay, you're building this all on one spot. So WordPress, as I said, nearly 50% of the world's websites now are built on WordPress. I think NASA even has their website built on WordPress. And if you can use a Word document, then you can write a blog post. Okay, they're trying to make it as easy as they can. Now, there are two formats of WordPress. There's the free version, and the free version is the .com version, and the paid version is .org. Now, the problem with the free version is it's like somebody else owning your property. Okay, you would not go and build a house on Indian land and expect to own it forever, right? You wouldn't build a house on rented land. That is what .com is all about. They actually let you build your house on their property. Now, if they ever went out of business or they decided to close you down, you don't own the rights to that content. That content disappears. So you could be spending a lot of time building your business on somebody else's platform. I say the same for things like Facebook and YouTube. You could go and build your business on Facebook, but if Facebook closed you down, your business is closed down. You don't want other people controlling your assets. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right. So I always recommend you go through the WordPress.org. Now, to actually buy and use .org, it's free. The only costs involved are you need to have a domain name, so yourdomain.com, which will probably cost you about $10, and then you need some hosting. And you can get hosting as cheap as $5 a month these days. So the expenses are not a lot, but it just means you own everything when you build that site. Does that make sense? Is there any questions about that? Okay. I'm not going to go through the differences here too much because they can be a little confusing. So I don't want to go through it, but just understand if you're going to ask me what should I do or how should I get my own blog, I would say WordPress.org is the way you want to go. Okay. Blogger. I know some of you, Virginia, you're on Blogger, right?
I looked at it.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't
So
started
Blogger is the same thing. It's Google owns Blogger, and it's the same deal. They own it. Your content is on their platform. They own you. So I would say don't do it. The other thing about blogging and having it on your own website is that when you blog, as Jeff said earlier, it can be content that gets search results for years to come. All right. So if you've got your website out there and you want your website to be found, blogging is a great way for people to find your content. And when people find your content on the search engines, Google loves the fact that they're going to your website. So you want people to come to your website as much as you can. Even if you have a site selling solar energy or solar power, whatever it is, you still want to be having traffic coming to it from organic search results.
I have a
Okay,
quick question.
sure.
Okay, so your domain name, which ends with .com.
Yes.
Okay, you're going to do a WordPress that is .org.
Yeah, don't get confused with that. So that's just they have their own .org and .com. Your website can be .com, .org, .info,
Right.
it can be
Yeah.
it can be .anything.
Right.
You can be .anything. This is just where you need to go and get the right platform.
Right. Okay.
So you type in WordPress.org and you'll find that site.
Yeah.
Type in WordPress.com and you'll find the free version.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what your domain is. You can have whatever you like.
No, I understand that, but when I do the attach my .com, whatever
Yep.
it's cleanenergylinks.com,
Uh-huh.
as an example,
Yep.
then I'm going to do the WordPress, but I'm going to do .org
Go
And
to
then tie
.org.
it.
Yeah,
to, okay,
correct. That makes sense.
I just have to say, I always thought .org was 501
non-profit.
nonprofit.
Yeah,
I
I thought
always
so too.
thought that.
Not anymore. Gov is still a government
Or government,
organisation. .org was down that path of we're sort of non-profits, but now there's people saying, let's just take .org. No one's stopping you doing a .org. You can have your own .org. You can have a whole bunch of website names and redirect them all to one spot if you want. But it's still got that mentality of .org. So and people remember .com over .org more often.
Right.
So if you get a .com, if you get a .com, it's probably better because more people are looking for .com. Okay. Any other questions about that? Okay. So visual content will only get bigger. What does that mean?
Images.
Images. It's all about images, right? So Zach, right?
Yeah.
So we've all got a smartphone. We have a camera and a video camera in our smartphone, which is probably better than the cameras we had that we bought at the shops as a camera 5 or 10 years ago, right? So we're always using this stuff. And as such, apps and programs like Snapchat and Instagram is just going through the roof, right? Because people are sharing images. Does anybody know what the biggest image sharing site is in the world right now?
Instagram?
Shutterfly? No. Instagram? No.
Pinterest.
Pinterest? No.
Oh, yes.
No, not Pinterest. No, it's an app that was bought out by Facebook last year for $20 billion.
Oh, yeah.
It's called WhatsApp.
Yeah.
WhatsApp is massive. It's massive, not in so much in the US, but it's massive in Europe. And it's massive in Asia. And I think just last week they crossed the 1 billion images shared per day. Wow. 1 billion images shared just on WhatsApp alone, right? So Facebook knew that they knew where the market was going. They bought Instagram for $3 billion 3 years ago. They tried to buy Snapchat for, they bought Instagram for $1 billion. They tried to buy Snapchat for $3 billion, and the guy who owned Snapchat said no. And now it's been valued at $10 billion, and they said no. So Snapchat is still ridiculously priced, but they bought WhatsApp because they knew where the market was. Images were where it's at. What drives Facebook? How many times do you click on a link that's got a photo versus just text? Right, it's all images. So images is where everything's going. Same with your blog. Take a note of what's going on. If your blog is just text, how long do you think people are going to stay around and read it? They're not going to read it, right? They want to see images. We just, by nature, we need to see stuff. We need to see images or video in our blog. So visual content is only going to get bigger as time goes on. Now, if you had asked anybody writing a blog 10 years ago and said, what's the biggest thing or what the biggest reason you're writing a blog, they would have answered with this: growing a mailing list. 10 years later, it's still the same answer. Growing a mailing list is still one of the biggest things you can do. Why is that, do you think? What's that to that? Lou, what do you think?
Well, mailing list means that you have more and more contacts all the time.
Right. So you got a connection with them, right? I want you to imagine you own a shoe store. You have a nice looking shoe store. Let's say it's the size of this room and you've got all these lovely shoes around here. And Jeff walks in looking for ladies' red high heel shoes, as he often does on Fridays. Jeff comes into the shoe shop. Okay, but I don't know who Jeff is, right? I don't know who he is. He walks in, he looks around, and he says, "Oh, nice shoes." And I say, "Thank you." And then he walks out the door. I don't know who he is. How can I sell him anything from now on? I can't, right? I don't know. I'm gonna hope. I'm gonna close the door and lock him in. I can hope that he comes back to my shoe store, but that's all I can do is hope. If he didn't see anything like it, doesn't want to come back, he's gone forever, right? Same with a website or a blog. Somebody comes to your blog and they're looking around going, okay, this is great information. I'm looking at health, beauty and meditation and stuff like that. And I'm like, yeah, this is really cool. I leave and I'm like, oh, I saw this awesome blog the other day. What was its name? I can't remember it. Oh, well, doesn't matter. I'll find something else. So they've gone in, they've seen who you are, but they've gone. Either they don't come back because they don't want to, or they don't come back because they can't remember who you are, right? So building a list on a blog is extremely important. How would you do that, Brian?
Sorry, will you repeat the question?
So how would you build a list with a blog? What sort of things do you need on a blog to build a list?
Well, you can ask the single questions, name,
Right.
profession,
Email address.
perhaps, email address,
yeah. Email address is the biggest one.
and well, there's different questions you could ask within your blog that people can respond to that'll get you that information.
Sure. Good one. So they come along to your blog and they're looking at your stuff and they think, I'd really like to know a bit more. Maybe you've got something that would entice me to give you my email address. Because once you've got my email address, then I can walk out the shop door and you know exactly where I am. You can come back and you can email me and say, hey, Andrew, we've just written a new post, or we've got this, or here's a new article or something that we've done. But now you know who I am. You've got me as a captured audience. Does that make sense? Yeah. If Jeff came in and looked at my shoes and I might have said, hey, you know what, Jeff, we've got a new shipment coming in every week. How about give me your email address and I'll email you every time there's a new shipment. I've got those shoes that you're looking for in your size. And I email him. Then I know he's gettable again. Does that make sense? Yeah. I can go and catch him. So building a list is one of the most important things you want to have of a blog, because you want to make sure that when people are coming through, you're collecting the data so you can reach out to them again. Is everyone clear on that?
Yes.
Yeah, cool. Let's see. On your handouts too, by the way, number one, if you hadn't got that, was a self-hosted WordPress blog. WordPress is the word. Number two is visual content. Number three is growing a mailing list. Okay, so number four, time to get smart about competition analysis. So this day and age, there is a lot of competition for everybody. Would you want to agree with that? Doesn't matter what industry you're in, there's going to be competition out there right now. So you want to start looking at what are people doing? How are they doing it? What are they doing? And how can you be better at what they're doing than you? All right, so I'm not going to go into too much about this, but just understand that look at, if you're going to start a blog, Eugenia, about gift baskets or that sort of scenario, what are other people doing? Not necessarily in the Valley here, but what are they doing in New York? What are they doing in London? What are they doing in Australia? What are they doing? And how can you use what they're doing to give you some ideas about writing your first blog? So don't be afraid to go and use other people as an idea incubator. Okay, so if you get stuck thinking, what am I going to write about? Well, don't open the page and then think about what you're going to write about. Go and find out what people are writing about first.
Well, I was looking like some, because we also have gifts, we have kits for quinceañeras and stuff like that. I was looking at, okay, how did Mother's Day even get started? They have stories on all that.
Right.
What are quinceañeras? What do they wear? Can I not copy, but can I use some of that?
Right, good question. Yeah, sure. So that's a good question. So that comes down to a thing called duplicate content. Okay. Google want to make sure there's three things that they like on a blog post or a website. Fresh content, meaning it's fresh, it's just arrived on your site. Unique content, has it been found anywhere else? I.e., have you cut and pasted from somebody else and stuck it on your page? And relevant, is it relevant to your general website? Okay, so if you're talking about gift baskets and that sort of stuff, and suddenly you're talking about traveling to Hawaii that has no relation to what you're talking about as far as gift baskets go, they're going to say, hey, this is not relevant. Or suddenly on your post, you're trying to sell Viagra, for instance, maybe a funny gift. But if you're trying to sell something that's not related, they're going to say, hang on a minute, that's not relevant to the rest of your site. We think you're just trying to create a farm where you're trying to get traffic and then you're going to start throwing anything and everything at them. Does that make sense? I missed that.
She said if I were in a gift basket.
That would be for Valentine's Day, right?
I'll take 10%. Not 10% of my agent, 10% of the money.
Don't do that.
All right.
I think it's a great idea. It's all about ideas.
I know.
So does that make sense? Like you can definitely model what people are using out there. What are they doing and make it better? In fact, I'll talk about this, one of our strategies in a minute, how we're doing it.
One of the most interesting talking about what she's doing is, have you ever watched Shark on TV?
Yes.
Shark Tank?
Yeah.
So that's fascinating because
You know what?
that's all about ideas.
Right.
That, that idea has been around a long time. So you really need to reinvent yourself. I know it's been around.
What's
The
that?
gift basket.
Oh yeah,
It's
yeah,
also
They send it to
regular
universities
gifts,
for the kids.
You know,
Yeah.
that's what we're
It's
all
regular
doing is
gifts, too.
reinventing ourselves.
That's all it really
yeah. There's a lot of information for you to find, and all I'm saying is
Everything's been around.
go through with a notepad and jot down ideas as you see it. Don't go looking for specific one idea. Go to find the best gift basket company in the USA and look at what are they writing about? What are the topics they're writing? And just write those down. And you'll get a year's worth of content. You'll get a year's worth of content. Okay. Long content still works. Long content still works. So that's not toilet paper, by the way. It could be. So long content. So what is long content? How long is long content? You want to guess what long content is?
More than 3 paragraphs?
More than 3 paragraphs, yeah. So up until about a year and a bit ago, we were doing a lot of blog posts. We were teaching people to write blog posts of about 400 to 500 words. Okay, 400 to 500 words. For anyone that doesn't like writing, it's still a lot of writing for me, right? I hate it. But we knew that was what it took. We needed to write at least once a week, about 400 to 500 words every week. What we're finding now is we've increased our blog posts to 2,000 to 3,000 words every week.
Oh my God.
So
I do that.
before you get freaked out and scared, let me tell you what it's done for us. We have now quadrupled our traffic in just 3 months. Quadrupled our traffic to our website. That's our website in general. We've increased the amount of time on our site, which Google loves. Okay, so people come to our site, and where they used to read a blog post in say 30, 40 minutes, now they're spending 3 or 4 minutes reading our posts. So they're spending a lot more time. Google loves it. We're getting found a lot more in organic search results, which means all the words that are in our blog post are getting searched, and Google are delivering those results. So we've tripled the amount of organic search results we've had in the last 3 months. And then the other thing is that people are sharing this stuff now. They're sharing it. They're taking the time. If you go to a post and you see it's really long, and you're like, wow, this is pretty interesting. I'm going to bookmark it. I'm going to read it later. They come back and they're reading it and spending time, knowing that it's a wealth of information about what we've spoken about. It's not just words being blurred on the screen.
So you're breaking up those 2,000 to 3,000 words with images, I take it?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
We do. We'll try and put a
not
video in there
just
somewhere.
Yeah.
Put a video. We'll put all sorts of images. We'll create at least 5 images for the post.
Okay.
We may not put all of those images in the post because
Right.
we'll use those images for some of our social media sharing as well later.
So ideally, okay, with 2,000 to 3,000 words,
Yep.
and let's say you've got 3 images.
Mhm.
So where are you going to put the images? Because you have to spread the images out to.
Wherever
there's
it's
no particular
appropriate.
formula.
Wherever it's
Right.
appropriate. Wherever you're talking about that
Every
particular topic.
500 words or something, it's no particular formula. So.
No formula. There's no
Okay.
formula. Just
All right.
wherever it fits. Like if you're talking about a specific topic of solar and you're talking about the cells, those volcanic ones, what do you call them?
Photovoltaic.
Voltaic ones. I think
Yeah.
it's volcanic, same thing.
Just say PV.
Well, so
Yeah.
you're talking about those, then put an image of those there.
Right.
Right? There's no point putting an image of those after talking about solar,
Thermal.
the thermal one.
Right.
I'm learning.
That's good. That's okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so put it where it's
Yeah.
appropriate.
Mhm.
Cool. Linda.
I reblog or repost people's interesting articles, like
Mhm.
you said maybe 3,000 to 4,000. But I found out that people don't read it. I don't have as many likes. But what I do is I do an excerpt. I take the gist of the story,
Sure.
and then the other thing that I get more likes is when I put a headline.
How do you know they're not reading your long post?
Well, they're not liking it.
Doesn't mean they're not reading it.
Well, they're. I
Have you looked at the time on your site? Are they spending more time on your site now than they were previously?
Not really. I have over 1,000 friends.
Have you ever read a post that you liked but never that you actually said it was good but you never clicked on like or anything like that? Every day, right?
But
I'm the same. I read a lot of posts and I think it's good. I just don't take the effort to click on like
But
or
I
share it.
think because people don't have the time and they just want.
You'll be
to-
surprised.
Yeah.
You'll be surprised. This is why I'm saying, because there's not a lot of long blog posts out there. People are taking the time to read it. There's a lot of crap out there. When I say, I'll be blunt, there's a lot of rubbish that's out there that's 500 words. And people are going to go, and I get annoyed when I see stuff. Let's say I'm on LinkedIn and somebody says, oh, here's a great article about something or other. And I'll go to read it, and it's just a bunch of drivel. And it's wasted my 40 seconds of reading it. And I'll go back and I'll say something like, don't post this rubbish. I get really annoyed at wasting my time for content that's supposed to be good. When they say a nice catchy headline, this is the best thing you'll ever read, and it's crap. But if it's long, I'll bookmark it and I'll consume it. I'll download it and I'll even print it out.
Because sometimes when I read it, you can really condense it to really maybe 5 paragraphs because all of them are just.
Well, that's what I'm
detail
saying. That's what I'm saying. So
overdoing it.
that's not a good time. That's not a good piece of content. You know what we do with our blog posts as well? We actually let people download it as a PDF.
Mhm.
So if someone wants to read, we know we put a lot of
Yeah,
good effort
that's
into it,
what I
right?
do. I do the highlights and I said excerpt and then I do the link.
No. This is a download, and we collect what do we collect when we ask them for a download? Email address. So people who are downloading
This is
our
just
blog
social, it's
posts,
not really
they're giving us their
professional.
email. We're probably collecting 5 to 10 every day. Email addresses. We're not getting anything special. It's just the same thing they're reading on the screen. If they want to download it, they give us their email address. And that way they can download it as a PDF. And they can read it then on their phone. They can read it without being connected to the internet. They can read it on their Kindle reader, all that sort of stuff. So people can read it wherever. We're trying to give as much choice as we can so people can read it and consume it however they want to do it. So,
You have them like subscribe to your blog, or and they can download as many as they want, or is it per
no,
article?
no, it's just per article.
Every
We do
time
per
they
article,
click
yeah,
it,
because we write different articles. Let's say that we wrote an article on Instagram, and you're like, I'm not so much into Instagram, but then we write one about mobile marketing or mobile friendly websites, and you're like, hey, I need to know about this, but I haven't got time. Let me just download it, and then I'll read it later.
You think
So-
it's too much work for the visitor to put their
That's only
email
it's,
every time?
it's just their email address. You just what's your email address, and most of the time it's already auto-populated anyway.
Okay.
They start their name and bang, it's done. Yep. And they can unsubscribe as well. We don't blast them with rubbish either. But yeah, it's one of those things we've been testing for a while. It's been working pretty well for us. So yeah, it's been good. Luke,
How frequently are you blogging?
every week. Every week we're still doing that. Yep. But you know what? If this is a long post and you're struggling to keep that frequency, then do one every 2 weeks. Do one every month. At least do something. Right? Don't just sit there and think about, oh, it's all too hard. At least start with something, even if it's a shorter blog post, and then work your way up. You don't have to go into the game 3,000 words every week without doing anything before. Just get your feet wet. At least start doing something. Do 500 words and see how it goes.
In my case, I'm a professional writer.
Mhm.
So it's like writing a press release. In the time that I've been here, every press release that I send in, they print.
Mhm.
There is a way to write.
It's an art.
It really is an art, and it's a creative way to tell the story. That's what gets people
Correct.
interested, not a whole lot of
Technical,
nonsense.
no, that's right. It is an art, and personally, I don't like writing because I don't.
I am.
But there are people who write it. Now, we'll talk about how to find people in a minute about that. But there are people out there who can help you with that sort of stuff.
He's right.
But I have to
Your
say-
photo comes up on my slide deck. In just a minute.
But let me say another thing. I think that when we have experience, we have that only to give it to others.
Yes.
So I don't mind that. Anything that anybody needs from me, I have.
Yep.
So I mean that. I think ideas are the key to success. We could talk about a whole lot of whatever, but an idea and having the confidence to really go for it, that's the key. And I mean that. And I get that result without, I have to say this because I'm very passionate about what I do.
It's not obvious.
Everybody knows. I'm a performer and I lecture now. I've been given that opportunity. So lecture, and I'm right. So I have all these keys.
Right.
And I feel that the greatest thing is when I see the results, when people look at people with Alzheimer's dementia and have a fear-based negative attitude, this is what I'm changing.
Right.
I am
So
getting-
a blog is a great way to do that. So.
Yes, okay,
Good.
I don't want to say anymore.
All right, I know we're going to move on because there's a few things I want to get through. So, time to spend money on promotion. So, writing a good blog post, good content, and then putting some paid marketing behind it is like putting a match to some gasoline. Okay, it really can explode your growth. I'm not going to go into marketing and advertising. There's so many different ways to do that, but there's things like Facebook ads, Google ads, there's banner ads, there's all sorts of other things you can go and find. Other influential bloggers. Let's say that you go and find a company that has your target market already, but they're not a competing industry. So, Virginia, what would be a company that would have your target market as customers already?
Probably, I don't know, 1-800-Flowers would be
Right,
one.
okay,
Bob Roy's would
So they may
Right.
let's use them as an example. So you may go and find, do they have advertising opportunities on their website? You know, you may be able to think, well, if they've got people looking for flowers, maybe they're looking for gift baskets as well. 1-800-Flowers may say, well, no, you're too close to what we're offering, so no. But you may find other non-competing industries or companies that say, hey, we've got a space on our website for you to advertise. Right, so think about how you can do that as well. Making big connections early. What this basically means is go and find the influencers in your industry. Go and find the people who would be able to influence their followers to go and have a look at your information. So as far as as far as solar goes, is there some big influential people out there who are the big heavy hitters like individuals or companies that you could approach?
Developers and.
Could be developers.
architects.
Is there any scientists that are well known in the solar industry?
I'm sorry, say that
Any
again.
scientists or professors out there that are well known in the solar industry?
I'm sure there are, I don't know them personally.
You don't have to know them personally. This is the cool
Yeah.
thing about social media is
Right,
that everyone's connected now.
yeah,
So let's say you write a your long blog piece on all the different types of cells and the different structures you can have. You can reach out to that person and say, I've just written a piece on this particular area of the solar industry. Love you to be able to share it with your 3,000 or 400,000 followers.
right,
Now, if he just did a blog post or a tweet and said, hey, great article on this article from the desert, all of a sudden you're reaching out to his followers
Yeah.
to drive traffic back to your site. Does that make sense?
yeah.
So make connections with the industry leaders. It doesn't matter if you're just in the valley. They can be in the valley, or they can be anywhere else out that's going to help your business grow. For people at least 300 different every blog post we go and find out who they are, and we'll send an email out to them. We'll say, hey, we want to just reach out to you. We've got a great piece. We'd love you to share it, have a look at it, and probably we might get 15% of those people share it, but 15% means more traffic to us that we've never even had a chance of getting in front of before. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yep. Cool. Responsive blog designs are a must. Responsive blog designs. So in 2 weeks' time, exactly today, 21st of April, Google are bringing out an algorithm change, which is going to say that if your website and your blog site is not mobile responsive, which means it doesn't fit nicely inside a mobile phone or a tablet, then they're not going to show your site in search results. How many people would that affect? Lots of people, right? Lots of people. You got 2 weeks. Give me a call. You got 2 weeks. You got 2 weeks. So Google, because here's the thing, Google are making the experience of search the best they can possibly make it. And we're all looking at stuff. In fact, in March last year, I think March 21st was the day that mobile searching overtook desktop searching. More people searching on mobiles than desktops. So now, fast forward nearly a year later, it's a big gap already. More people searching for stuff on mobiles than desktops, which means that Google were delivering results of websites that looked really bad on mobile devices. You couldn't see it. You had to do the scrolling exercises to go and read their page and the zoom in, zoom out. And Google said, hey, we don't want to give our searchers bad results. We don't want them to go to sites, look at it and go, it's all too hard, bounce off and go back to the search results. We want to give them the best results we can. So they said, and they've given a lot of warning, April 21, we're going to change it. Anyone that doesn't have a mobile responsive site, on a mobile phone. Okay, so just think about that. Most websites, if they've been built in the last 12, 18 months, will be mobile responsive. But if you've had a website that's been built pre that, the best way you can check that, there's a tool out there. Do you remember the tool's name? We'll tell you in a minute.
Yeah.
We'll tell you in a minute. Then you can go and put your URL into a Google tool, and it tells you whether it's mobile friendly or not. So that's a big thing, right? So just letting you know that's what's going to happen very soon. Outsourcing will make you prolific. So we use we use different outsources for different things, but this is where it can really help you. If you don't have time to write a 3,000 word blog post, if you don't have time to go and reach out to 300 people, if you don't have time to go and find who are the influencers and time to research and all that sort of stuff, you can't do it by yourself. It's just too much. But you do and want to find people who can help you do this. There are people that like researching. There are people that like writing. There are people that like doing all this sort of stuff. It's not me, but there are people out there who do it. Right?
I do it all.
Right? But you can get it, and you can get. I would say you can get anywhere from $2 an hour, people, to $100 an hour. Somewhere in between there is going to be the right fit. If you pay $2 an hour, you probably get $2 an hour jobs results. Just letting you know that. Don't go as cheap as you can because you probably get cheap results. But there are some really cost-effective ways to make this work. Some of my favorite sites, if you want to write this down, elance.com, elance, elance.com, Odesk, elaneodesk.com. I haven't got them up here. Elane's Odesk and guru.com. Guru, GURU.com. And while you're writing, that website to check your mobile device is, Jeff?
Just search mobile friendly test, and it's a Google site.
Yeah, mobile friendly test.
Yep.
Google site. Google will often put their own results as number one result.
Yeah.
Funnily enough.
But then you just type you just type in your URL of your website, and it'll tell you whether or not it's responsive or not. We did this with a bunch of people that we're in business with, and probably 70% failed.
Yeah.
In other words, March 21st, they won't be able to use mobile as search. And
So you can't just type in your own website then?
You do, and it tells you whether you fail or not.
But without going to that site, can't you just type in your own website directly?
Well, do you know what you're looking for though? Here's the thing, you don't know what you're looking for. When you go to that Google test, you put it in there,
Right.
and it just tells you, it doesn't test for in the background, it says, yep, you passed.
Right.
Well, no, you haven't. All right, let's move on. I think we're nearly done. SEO, search engine optimization. A lot of people talk about this and have been talking about it for a long time. Search engine optimization changes every day. That Google algorithm change, that's part of the SEO change. But here's the thing to think about. If you write good content that people want to read, then you're going to be safe. Right? It's as simple as that. If you write good content that people want to read, then you'll be safe. Don't worry about all the SEO tricks and you got to have meta tags and you got to have this and that and all that sort of rubbish. If you write good content, that's my biggest message. It's gonna change, but it's not really if you keep writing good content.
Okay, so once you get the blog done, now how do you get people to the blog? Do you use the SEO for that? Or?
This is what I'm saying is you write good content that people want to find. They'll find it in the search results, and that's all part of what SEO is. Writing good content and the words that people are searching for will be part of this. Traffic is another story. We can go traffic for a month. But does that answer the question? If you write good content and you're getting a lot of information in there, people will search for that organic stuff and they're going to find this is what SEO is getting found on the search results. Yep. All right. A couple of quick examples to wrap it up. Coca Cola. How many products does Coca Cola sell? Anyone know?
Many. I don't know.
Do they do sell a lot? Do you think?
One.
Or one, or just a couple? As far as a lot, what do you mean by a lot?
All the brands?
10?
I don't know.
Okay.
Knows that.
I don't either. I'm just asking
I
people.
think you know.
But here's the thing with Coca Cola, right? This is in the top 1% most trafficked website in the world, and it's due to their blog. They put a lot of content out on their blog posts. Right? They're writing a lot of content. They understood 2 years ago that they had a static website, which means a website that didn't change. It was the same information yesterday as it was 3 months ago, and the same information probably tomorrow. They understood that content marketing and blogging was super important. So this is where they said, we've got to start creating content as part of our marketing. And now they write blogs every day, a couple of times a day, I think. So this is Coca-Cola. This is Kraft. What do you think their main purpose of blogging is? Recipes. Recipes. How many recipes can you do with mac cheese? Probably thousands, right? And they write a different post on it every day. There's a new recipe. This is why they are even more traffic than Coca-Cola. Kraft has more traffic to their site than Coca-Cola because of their recipes. But their recipes appear as blog posts. Right? The recipes appear as blog posts. So people looking for it, and the search engines are finding, I'm looking for a recipe with mac cheese. They give you Kraft results. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
What's this company? They blog.
Yes.
Blogs.nasa.gov. NASA does blogs. Right? This is what I'm saying. These companies, not just businesses. I mean, how does NASA make money? Do we go and give it money? We don't buy any of their products, do we? Necessarily. But they still know that disappear. There you go. They still know that they've got a blog. They've got to put content out there, and they do that in the form of blogs. So they're big companies. What about small companies? This one here is a mummy blogger. Mummy bloggers is a big little industry out there. And this particular one is one of the best ones. 50 Nifty Mummy. All she does is write about 50 nifty stuff for kids, right? She gets a really big following rate, a lot of information, and she writes blogs every day about something new, something different. But she gets a lot of traffic coming through because of her blog. All right, I think that is any good. Let's open up to Q&A.
I know a couple of questions like
Oh,
Google
you know,
Plus and
thank
Tumblr.
you. Good, yeah, thank you. All right, so I did miss a few of these on my presentation because I knew I was running out of time. So let's go back. Number 5 is long content still works. Number 6, Google Plus will grow to the, I'll put here point of necessity, which means that Google Plus is a Google product. And as far as search results go, the more information you can share on your Google Plus account, the better it is in search results. Okay. I'm not going to go into that too much, but just understand that as the point of necessity. Outsourcing will make you prolific. Number 8 is SEO will change. Number 9, responsive blog designs are a must. Number 10, your blog will become priority. The blog should become priority, I should say. Should become. Number 11, security threats will increase. Now, this is going to be ongoing. It's just going to be part and parcel of what happens out there. We've all heard about the Target security breach, and what was the other big one last year?
Home Depot.
Home Depot and iTunes. iTunes?
Anthem Blue Cross.
Anthem, yeah, all that sort of stuff. So these are going to happen. I mean, these guys would spend a lot more on security than probably you did. Probably, in fact, all of us combined. Times 100, right?
Yeah.
It's still going to happen. It's still going to happen. And if you're sitting there waiting for those threats to disappear before you start blogging, you may as well forget blogging at all. Number 12, personal branding will become more important. People want to do business with people they know, like, and trust. They want to know a face. They don't want to see an organization and a logo. They want to know, who am I doing business with? Which person are they doing business with? Number 13, diversification of income will be key. Now, I don't want to go into that too much, but there's a number of ways to monetize your blog. In this case here, this person's putting some ad space. They've given some ad space to a third party, and they basically say, you can put any ad you like here, depending on what people who are visiting my site, where they've come from. In this case here, if Zach, if you went to this site at the same time as me, you would not see that ad. You would see something else. They call this remarketing or retargeting. Okay, so what happens is I've been to this site myself. I went to Marketing Profs University, and when I went to that site, they dropped a little cookie in my browser. Right? They dropped a little cookie, and they said, "We're gonna market to you according to the sites you've been to before." So when I go to this site, Mummy Blogger, there's a space there for anyone that's been remarketed. Okay, and these guys here, they said, "Oh, Andrew's here, and he's been to our site. Let's chuck an ad up there." So when I look at it, I go, "Oh, I remember those guys." But Zach, he's never been to Marketing Profs University. He wouldn't even know what that is. He's not going to see that ad. He might see an ad for, let's say he went to the Coca Cola site, for instance. He may see an ad for Coca Cola up there because he's been there and they dropped a cookie on him that way. Does that make sense? I don't want to get too technical. I'm just trying to tell you. There's lots of ways to make money from your blog. This person's making money. Every time I click on that ad, she makes a couple of cents. Not a lot. You're not going to retire on it. It's just a way to monetize it. Number 14, buying blogs will get more popular. Buying blogs, Virginia, you may want to buy one instead of even sitting there thinking about writing one.
I was thinking about
Yeah, that's why I said it. There's a site for you called Flippa, Flippa.com. You can flip. They're flipping like you do houses. They flip blogs. They build them and sell them. And then number 15, Tumblr, Ghost, and Medium will teach us things. There's a lot of information on Tumblr's not spelled right there. It's TUMBL with no I.
No I. Right.
Tumblr, Ghost, and Medium, they're just different blogs. They're blogging platforms, they're micro-blogging platforms. You can learn a lot from those ones there as well. All right, any questions about that before we wrap up? Because I know it's getting late. Other questions? Oh, yes.
Can I just make one comment? We've kind of talked about, or maybe left with the impression that blogging is about writing. And it's not only about writing. Like almost everything we do, I'd say probably 80% of what we do is all video. And so we know for every 3-minute video, it has a value of about 30 minutes of read time. But people will do that. So we use video tremendously. We also are now moving into doing podcasting on it. We put it in many places. So when we say blogging, Andrew's coming from, it means, hey, whatever medium is best for you and your audience. Just like Andrew said, hey, if he puts it in one place, that photo, he's not going to put it in another place because that's not the best for his audience. So we'll maybe redo that, strip out the audio, and it's an audio podcast someplace else, or we'll have somebody transcribe that and make it a blog post out of one video. So keep that in mind. It's many different things. It can be just pictures.
It could be pictures. It could be where's audio instead. We've got a podcast as well, and our blog posts are our audio podcasts. All right, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, next week. So, by the way, so don't forget the mentoring. Ron and Stephen snuck in at the back. Stephen's here as well. I can surveys.
One more question. What's your website?
Okay, autopilotyourbusiness.com is my website. It's actually on the back of your handout, I think. No? I don't know.
On the bottom.
On the bottom. There we go.
Thank you.
Also, if you could do us a favor on the surveys, if you could hand those surveys in, the most critical part we're told this morning, the most critical part this morning is to make sure either you fill in the very bottom, your name, phone number, email address, or attach a $10 bill to it. Whatever's easiest for you. It's critical.
Get someone else to do it for you.
And if anybody would like to talk, Stephen and myself are here for a while at the chamber, so if you want to talk to us about things or getting an appointment set up, we're available for for a short